Have you got to dash off again?
No, I'm done. I mean, dinner is cooking. Oh shit!
Don't want to set the fire alarm off.
Woo! There we go. I made some sweet potato wedges. Well, I made some potato wedges and I incinerated some sweet potato.
That's the best thing for sweet potato.
This is Sheer Isolation. It's presented by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge and John Ponting in Cricklade.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming along to join us this week. I am John in Cricklade and Kieran is over in Trowbridge.
I am. For my sins.
Have you had a decent week, Kieran? I haven't been to any gigs this week, for shame.
I was meant to be going to watch Tom Jenkins in Cardiff with some friends. And there's just too much flu-y stuff in my family that I need to stay here and look after children. So I can't go out. I'm having to be an adult, and I really hate it when you have to compromise and be an adult. That really sucks.
When you go to gigs, I know when you go to a ticketed event, there are a reasonable amount of empty seats where people are having to self-isolate or not go for whatever, which I'm assuming is majority of it is down to self-isolation and staying away.
I've had some friends who've had gigs with drop-offs of like 20%, but 1 in 5 tickets not turning up. You're not talking like small, like 20 people. We're talking like hundreds of people, at a show, and like literally 100 people not turning up.
The purpose of this show is to promote the local music and art scene across the west of England. We chat today to a musician and the person who designs posters for gigs, which is something you'd never really think about. But Kieran, on your background, there are posters everywhere. Someone's got to design them. Someone's got to design them.
Yeah, they do. And I've been very lucky over the years. Musicians like, especially like artist-focused musicians like to take complete control of their product from design, the way it all is presented. And I know when I did my gigs, I like to have a little bit of control over that too. I like to have a nicely presented poster. It reflects well on the promoter and the venue, etc. We're really lucky, if you look behind me, like the Andy Bell one, that was designed by someone that was just given to me. It looks brilliant. It really fits the music, etc. Salem, that again really fitted the music. That was designed specifically for them. I think a really well-designed poster can sell tickets on its own, irrespective of the music being promoted. Callan is he's a West Country boy. He's been in and around the area for many years. He's in a band, and that's how I know him, through the band work. But he also is a graphic designer and makes wicked original artwork. Some of it is amazing. He's got an Instagram. You'll learn all about that in a moment.
Wonderful. We'll crack on with a track, and your choice this week, Kieran, you are playing a tune from Katherine Priddy.
Priddy. That U was a typo. It's Priddy.
You're a nightmare. All right, Katherine Priddy.
I am. I'm awful. We have Katherine Priddy. Her song Indigo, and it's a beautiful song. She has got a lovely voice, and the way she inflects certain words is just absolutely magnificent. But the reason we've chosen Katherine this week is because she is performing at Trowbridge Town Hall. It's the last gig of the year in Trowbridge at the Town Halls. It's the last live music event. It's sold out. It's going out on an absolute bang. I'm so happy. We could have sold this gig 2 or 3 times over. The amount of requests we've had for tickets has just been phenomenal. So yeah, it's Katherine Priddy and a song called Indigo.
You were raised in a forest. It grew straight and tall. As you weave through the trunks, you felt desperately small. The taller you grew, the taller the trees, and you'd run home all muddy and graze both your knees. And there in the middle stood a tall, slender beech. If you raised both your arms, you found you could reach the base of her branches, and upwards you swung. The forest, she whispered as all her leaves sang. In those indigo eyes, there's a child that hides in the stars. They call out to their runaway bride. Your troubles are old for a body so young. You are the first and the last to climb up the tree. You slept in her branches, you whispered that she had been there from the first. She'd be there till the end, and you'd weave her your stories of myths and pretend. And there in the night came a mighty grey storm. Her arms were outstretched as her body was torn. You cried when you found her, and after you fled, but nothing could silence the voice in your head. Cloud on a window, a shadow on the lawn, or a leaf on the breeze, and a star in the dawn. Oh, come home now, darling, the journey is done. Your troubles are old for a body so young. Life's over, they'll herald you home.
That was Indigo by Katherine Priddy. Where's she from, Kieran?
You know what? I don't know, but she's on Alan Behrman Music, who I think is a Scottish-based music promotions agency, who are fantastic, have a really good quality set of artists on their roster. But where she's from, I have no idea.
I'm assuming she's touring the area, given that she's in Trowbridge.
She's on a UK tour. She's on a UK tour, and it's absolutely wonderful to see Trowbridge on so many tours these days. It's just, Trowbridge is growing and growing, and I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, then let's move on to product. Oh, we're rattling through the script here, aren't we? Let's move on to product placement.
John, nothing's been received. I've not received anything.
No, I'm not surprised. Because I expect you've got a few vinyls on back order, but there's a real shortage. People just aren't getting their vinyls because it's just getting delayed because they just can't make them fast enough.
We did joke earlier with Callan about it's just because of Adele having to repress her album again, and it's like, oh, that's what's holding it all up. And obviously, biggest names in the industry talk. So if Adele wants her album repressed, it gets repressed, and little so and so label from the deepest, darkest corner of the UK gets bumped to the back of the list. Not that I'm bitter or anything, but yeah, it's very sad.
And it is the busiest couple of weeks for all the distribution companies as well, and all delivery companies. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy times. It's so chock-a-block, but really exciting.
Well, I look forward to lots of product placement in the few weeks when we get over Christmas, New Year, over the hump into January. You'll have loads of new stuff to shout about. Yeah,
well, I am just waiting for stuff to be delivered. Although I'm really delighted that we had. A friend of mine who's in a band is going to send me his CD because I had a copy of the album and I've lost it. So I was really annoyed by that. But I sent him a Facebook message saying, "Hey mate, have you still got copies of the album?" And he said, "Yes, here you go." So he's going to send it to me, and that will be a product placement at some point.
We will move on to our guest for the week then, who is Callan Milward, who, as we said in the opening link, he's a graphical designer, and he designs quite a lot of posters for bands, or he has done previously. He did admit that he's not been doing it that much recently. To be fair, there's not been a huge amount of gigs recently for him to do posters for those. No. So he's looking forward to getting back into that, and also a musician as well.
He can sing, he can perform, he's an illustrator, graphic designer, he can write great songs, he's in a cool band, he's handsome. I mean, what's not to like, John?
And the poster for a gig can, well, it's a make or break thing, isn't it? But particularly for a band that is reasonably unknown, you see a flyer in a pub like the Vic where you've got like 50 posters on the wall. You need something that's going to jump out at you.
Yeah, you do, absolutely. And funny you should say that. There's the last poster he did for me. I should get a copy of it, but it's from a couple of years ago. But it's absolutely fantastic. It's like a snake and a cat kind of jumping out of a poster. And it's just brilliant. Yeah, he's an absolute talent.
So here we go. Here's Callan.
I am a musician first and foremost. I play in the rock band Weatherstate. On the side, my kind of full-time job is kind of like I'm a chef. I work in a burger restaurant.
I did not know that.
Oh, did you not? No. So that's kind of my kind of main job is that.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for 7 years now. They've always been super supportive of all my kind of creative endeavors and music, especially. They've been really good.
Hey guys, I've got to go on tour. Is it all right? Yes,
yeah,
fine. You crack on.
No, surprisingly, they've been super fine with all that stuff as long as I've been there. So I can't really complain. And
Excellent.
they've been really good to me for that. But yeah, we do really well. We kind of at one point we were like the third best burger company on TripAdvisor in the UK or something like that. So
next time I'm in Weymouth, mate, I'm coming to see you for a burger.
Yeah, no, mate, please do pop in. It's a really good place. So yeah, I've been doing that. And kind of a small side hustle, which I haven't really been doing so much over the last few years, but I was kind of involved with doing a lot of more graphic design, like in maybe like 2014 through to 2017. I was doing that quite often, and something I haven't really dived in on properly in the last few years or so. But it's kind of, I still get bits and bobs here and there when appropriate, like in terms of work. But it's just more of a passion of mine now, and then like something I do for a living, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. I was just thinking about the last time you designed me a poster, and I don't know if you can remember which one it was, but it was before lockdown, and it was the Independent Venue Week, and we had Sewer at Bath Comedia, and you did the poster with a snake and the cat.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, that poster. It's actually my girlfriend's cat on the poster. It's kind of like a photo she sent me just over WhatsApp, and kind of like how I like to do my posters is a lot of it's more like texture stuff and gritty and like pop art and punky. And I kind of used this like photo she sent me of a cat yawning. And you obviously sent a reference to me as well, saying you want like a snake and a cat fighting or something like that. Or I can't remember specifically now, but I remember I was like, oh, this photo's kind of cool. So I kind of use that as like a source image for the poster itself. And I really like that poster. I think it's like this kind of like aqua blue and bright contrasty yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, very cool poster. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I love doing that kind of, punk pop art style. And, I growing up, I kind of like looked at like artists like Roy Lichtenstein and stuff like that. And just, any kind of poster at your punk rock show. So I kind of would do all these kind of styles, fuse them together, but as long as it's bright and punchy, that's kind of my deal, really. That's kind of my 2 cents in a kind of graphic design. I've tried to do more corporate stuff over the years, and I did have a job briefly with Universal Music Group for like a month or so, but a lot of that's kind of like you get given the assets and it's like, can you make this into like a banner for like a kind of music blog exclusive or something like that? So it wasn't necessarily stylized, it's just me doing very commercial graphic design, But,
do you work better if someone comes to you and gives you a blank canvas, or do you prefer it if someone comes to you with a very almost distinctive idea?
I kind of like bouncing off people with like an idea, because I did for a while when I first started up. I was doing a lot of like just like pop culture references and stuff like in my style. And I think I did like a few like wrestling related ones, and that kind of evolved into like a lot of these punk hardcore people come up to me and go, yo, can you do one of like the Undertaker on the like bearing Steve Austin on the cross? And it's like it'd be like for a hardcore show or something like that. And I kind of can run with stuff like that, it's really good fun to do stuff like that. But I love hearing ideas from people.
Oh no, you've got a very distinct style. Like, I mean, I always remember an artist I really like called Derek Hess, and it's like you know exactly what you're going to get from him. His style is very, very unique to him, and that's it. So, I think you've got a very cool style that if I know it, I've come to you before and said, could you do this? And you've been able to give me exactly what I want because that's, you've got that style, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, there's benefits to that for sure.
Definitely, yeah. People knowing what to expect from you where you're at. So tell me more about the band. Because I've noticed on social media recently you're getting active again.
Yeah, so Weatherstate, we're kind of rolling now into album 2, so it's kind of an exciting time for us. It's been a very hard year and a half process to get to the point where we are. We kind of signed our new deal at the top of 2020, had all these plans, and then obviously with the world changing, it's kind of just been adapting to that more so. And eventually we did get the record done, and we're now at a place where it's coming out in February, so that's kind of really exciting for us.
Tell us more about the deal. Who's it being released through?
We're signed to Rude Records now. It's kind of an Italian-based, alternative rock, kind of pop punk rock label, hardcore. They do a lot of that kind of stuff. And it was kind of a weird story because we played a show of a band called Light Years, and Light Years are like this punk rock band from the States. And we played this awful show with them, like a one-off support in Bridgewater. And I love the venue. It was Cobblestones. It's a really
Cobblestones,
cool yeah. But that show, I think maybe literally 3 people bought tickets. It was one of those kind of soul-crushing shows.
Yeah.
And we just kind of got speaking to the bands. They were signed to Rude at the time, and we're just saying, we would have loved to have been on this tour, and it's cool we're doing this one at least. And then I think the following week we announced our first album, and that was also at the same time we got an email from Rude just saying we've been speaking to Light Years and they really bigged you guys up. What are your plans for the future? And it was kind of like one of those deals. And so they kind of stayed in touch with us for our first album campaign. And top of 2020, we ended up signing with them. And it was awesome. And we kind of got these plans rolling for the next album. And I think it would have come out in 2020, the second album.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Had the world not all gone to shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we're stoked to finally have it out. We've released a few singles this year. It was a challenge because we worked remotely mostly on the production side of stuff. It was we worked with Alan Day, who is he's a great producer from the States. He plays in a band called 4 Year Strong, which is kind of
yes.
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, everyone knows 4 Year Strong.
Yeah, and it was really good working with him, albeit remotely. It was very hard to do over the internet, but he was great to work with, and we've just been dropping singles throughout this year. And
so how did you get working with him? How did that come about?
It was, I basically sent a list of producers off to our label, and I think some of them were absurd and some were more realistic. So I think I did put stuff, I can't remember now. The guy who did the color and the shape, he lives in Devon apparently. And I was like, oh yeah, put his name down. It was no chance. But Alan Day is someone I kind of I've seen. He does a lot of production stuff, and I think I really liked his work specifically on the first Can't Swim record. I really like that record, and and I just see his name pop up on a few other credentials, and I was just like, let's give him a shout. And he was the first one to be super responsive and keen, and
that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he was so keen. And our kind of first thing we wanted to achieve with this album was we wanted to be more challenged in terms of a pre-production perspective, because usually we just kind of rock up to the studio and have these songs and record them there and then, and there'd be some minor changes. But this was the first time we did a full-on head first dive into the tiny intricacies throughout the whole record, really.
So this album going to be a step up then?
Yeah, it's certainly different, really focused on every single part. It's certainly more of a dynamic range throughout the whole thing. It's not just a full-on 10 punk rock record like the last one.
Yes.
And there's some stuff I think people will not expect from us. And I think we've released that kind of with the singles so far.
Yeah.
I think our next one's going to be the most different. So I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, really. But
and the reaction people get to it.
Yeah, it's certainly it's the first single I think we released where it's the acoustic guitars, the predominant instrument, and
interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of built around like a kind of surf rock kind of lazy vibe to it, and it's kind of so yeah, it's completely different
because it's up for pre-order, isn't it? The album.
It is, yeah, over at the Rude Records store. Yeah, it's all out there. Obviously, with vinyl delays right now, I don't know when we'll finally see those records, but
about a year's time, I think.
Yeah, it's
next Christmas.
Yeah, or maybe 2025. Who knows? It'll be out there eventually. Depends how many like represses Adele gets in there, I think.
Yeah, right. Isn't that the truth? Cool. So what are your, if anybody wants to get in touch with you regarding artwork and get and commissions, how do they do that?
Your best bet's probably, if you want to email me, I'm callanmilward@gmail.com. I'd love doing artwork. I don't do it enough these days. But yeah, if you're down with like someone who does like a gritty kind of punk rock stuff, very
bright
posters. I'm that guy. But yeah, in regards to everything like the band Weatherstate at Weatherstate on all social media platforms, pretty much.
We need to plug the burger bar as well because I like going to Weymouth. I don't know where to find you.
The Dorset Burger Company in Weymouth. That's where I'm at. Yeah, it's just pretty much off the seafront by the train station. You can't miss it if you're arriving into Weymouth.
Are you based in Weymouth and the rest of the band down that way, or do you find like meeting up to practice a bit of a hassle?
So it's quite weird because we formed in Bristol. That's where the band formed, was in Bristol, like in 2013. We're all originally from Weymouth. 3 of us now live in Weymouth again. And our drummer Toby, he's from Wiltshire. He was born in Devizes, and he lived in Trowbridge most of his life. He now lives in Salisbury, so he's kind of there.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, so he now commutes from Salisbury for practice.
That's a bit closer, I guess. Actually, it's not such a bad drive, is it? That?
No, it's about an hour 10 minutes or so. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. And
no, not at all.
But yeah, he's still a Wiltshire boy.
All right, Callan. Right, we're at that point in this session. We normally invite a guest to pick a song. You're allowed to pick one of your own if you wish, because we haven't played Weatherstate yet on the session.
I was going to pick a Wiltshire band. I was going to pick a band called Borts, because they're a great band. We played with you actually, Kieran, at your show.
Yeah, they're great.
They released a really solid single earlier this year called Get Sold, and I really like the song. It's kind of just a short punk rock banger, loads of hooks on it.
They've got I love Borts. They've got loads of banging short tracks. They're only like 2.5 minutes long. Maybe
do the Nurse, because that's an actual music video, and it's a good video as well. So yeah, maybe put that in there. That again, cool. They're just a great band from Wiltshire, and I think they're underappreciated, and they just got some great punk rock rippers, really. So if you're a fan of like modern baseball or like I don't know, like Narwhals or like that kind of thing, they're kind of a band for you, I would say.
I met a girl the other day. She drank a beer and watched me play. I was okay. We spent a week out in the sun until the rain ruined our fun. And that's okay, because I'm done. I know she's not the one to hide the gun, the girl to take the heat when darkness comes to me.
Borts are a Salisbury-based band, and they're absolutely fantastic. I don't know how to describe. Well, musically, they're kind of like pop punky, kind of like Tiger's Jaw. If you know Tiger's Jaw, it's that kind of pop punk. And Wolvesy, really short songs, big, just wall to wall from the off sing-alongs. They're brilliant, and they're kind of a super group of Salisbury. They're all people that have been in other bands over the years, and from the off, they're just brilliant. I absolutely love them. They played for me a few times, and hopefully they'll play for me a few times more.
We seem to be going through a phase of playing very short songs. We went through a phase about 6 months ago where all the songs we play were like 6 or 7 minutes. And I'd either have the choice of playing the song or just cutting us out. And the last few weeks, we've had to leave in so much of the dross that we talk about between conversations just to fill up the half hour. In that case, we just have news to go. Shall I start with news?
Yes, please.
May as well. We've mentioned this a couple of times before on recent shows, just about the Oasis Centre in Swindon and the future of it, while it's been derelict for quite a while now. But the dome, the famous glass dome of Oasis, has now been registered as a listed building, which means it is protected. It cannot be knocked down.
No way. So that went through. Oh, dear.
Which now raises the question, okay, we do have now this glazed dome, which we can't take down.
What are we going to do with it?
What are we going to do with it? Yeah.
Turn it into Swindon's bespoke live music venue, like the Academy style venue. A venue with a dome like that could be really, really cool and unique. And if Swindon want to go down that, that route, that would do very well for Swindon. Bands already go to Oasis for gigs. There you go. That's my suggestion.
There we go. You got any news?
I have no news, John. I've got a theatre production starting this week, and it's with a woman called Flo Espute, and she is the next Fleabag, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm really excited to be working on that. So that's my news. No more music for me. Toodaloo, it's all next year. Actually, John, I have got some news.
Well, I was going to say Flo was a guest on a couple of weeks ago, so get onto our back catalogue, whether you use Spotify or Apple or YouTube or our own website or whatever, and just because that was a cracking interview with Flo. Oh, she was lovely. Well, I have got some news. So you'll remember that we advertised, announced Andy Bell, which is part of Independent Venue Week. Well, we have just announced, we had 24 hours notice to turn the gig around. We've just announced that Revive Live, which is another music venue trust initiative, Revive Live, is coming to Trowbridge. That tour is 2 bands. It's a band called Grandma's House, who are sort of a 3-piece feminist punk band. They're awesome. And then support, they've got, what's it called? I've forgotten the support band. Something Shack. I don't know, something like that. Hang on a minute, I'll tell you who they are. But we've got these 2 bands coming as part of Revive Live, and I'm absolutely delighted that we've got them. So you should be. I thought you were going to be starting to wind down because it's just that time of year. No one's booking gigs. No one wants to get things in the calendar. Oh no, booking gigs is really busy because that will go on for next year. But yeah, it's going crazy. Records get quieted down because everyone's touring. But it's Panic Shack. It's a Panic Shack, and they're a 4-piece women riot girl punk band. So we've got this dual co-headline: Grandma's House and Panic Shack. If you want to get in touch with us, the usual channels are sheerisolation.co.uk or sheerisolation@gmail.com. And I've already promoted the fact you can go and find our back shows. Plenty of material for you to go back and listen to if you're bored in the run up to Christmas. Because we're not busy people at this time of year, are we? Oh my God, no, not at all. Right. I don't even know how we have time to do this, John, to be honest. We always seem to manage to fit it in just about. Just about. Cheers for that. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back next week with more news, more music, more guests. Speak later. Take care. Cheers, bud. Bye-bye. Cheers, John boy. Take care. Love you. Bye.